At my husband's graduation ceremony, where he was set to give the valedictorian speech, I sat in the crowd holding my breath. Minutes before he went on stage, his affair partner's husband stormed in and threw a folder of photographs at his feet. The entire auditorium went silent. He never made it to the podium, and he never graduated after that scandal went public. I didn't used to be this cold. I used to believe in people. In loyalty. In marriage. In all that forever stuff. I believed it so hard I ignored every sign that something was wrong. My name doesn't matter, but this story does. It happened in Charleston, South Carolina. Not one of those fake revenge stories you read online. This was real. This was personal. And it damn near broke me before it lit a fire in me I didn't know I had. My husband, his name was Adam, was 29 and finishing up his political science degree at the College of Charleston. He'd taken time off years ago after his mom got sick. That was the kind of man I thought I married. Someone who put others first. We'd been married for 3 years, together for 5. I met him at a charity event downtown where I was volunteering. He helped with setting up chairs and then ended up sitting next to me during the speaker portion. He made me laugh. He had this calm way of talking, like he always knew what to say and how to say it. I fell for him fast. And hard. When he got accepted back into school, I supported him fully. I worked 2 freelance jobs to help keep us afloat. I cooked every night, paid most of the bills, and never once complained about how often he was at the library or staying late on campus. I wanted him to have his moment. I thought we were building something together. Turns out, I was building a life for 2 people who were faking it. He was cheating on me for more than a year. With a woman named Jenna, who was also married. To a man named Kyle. Jenna was one of Adam's classmates. She worked for the student paper and they got paired up on some school project about the upcoming state election. That's where it started. They'd have meetings, then coffee, then late nights researching. I didn't think much of it at first. I trusted Adam. I believed in him. God, I was stupid. I didn't find out on my own. Kyle reached out to me first. He found me through Facebook. He sent me a message late one night that just said, "You need to see something. It's about Adam and my wife." I didn't answer right away. I sat there, staring at the screen. I thought maybe it was spam or some crazy person. But something in my gut told me to click. And when I did, everything cracked open. He sent me screenshots. Dozens of them. Texts between Jenna and Adam. They were sexting during the day while I was at work. Sending each other pictures. Making plans to meet at cheap hotels on Rivers Avenue. One message said, "I love that you wear your wedding ring while you're inside me. It makes it hotter." I almost threw up. Kyle said he'd been suspicious for a while, but only recently got proof. Jenna had left her iPad unlocked and synced to her phone. He found everything. He'd been holding on to it, trying to figure out what to do. He didn't want to blow up his kids' lives. But when he saw Adam was being chosen as valedictorian, it pushed him over the edge. He said, "I don't care if I look crazy. I'm not letting him stand up there and give some speech about hard work and integrity while he's been screwing my wife in cheap motels." That's when I told him I wanted in. The school was hosting the graduation ceremony at the Gallard Center. It was a big deal. Local press. Professors. Alumni. He was going to stand up there, center stage, and act like a damn hero. We planned it all in 3 days. Kyle gathered the evidence, printed every text, every photo, every receipt. He even put sticky notes on the worst ones. He said he wanted no one to miss the point. The morning of the graduation, I woke up and watched Adam iron his gown. He smiled at me. Kissed me. Told me he loved me. I held it together. I packed him a water bottle and a snack like a good wife. Then I drove separately and met Kyle in the parking garage behind the venue. He handed me the folder. It was thick. I didn't even want to touch it. But I took it. We walked in separately. He sat near the back. I sat near the front. The place was packed. His parents were there. My parents were there. Everyone looked proud. Everyone looked like they believed in him. When his name was called, the crowd clapped. He stood up. He looked like he belonged there. Like he earned it. That's when Kyle walked in. He moved fast. Right down the center aisle. The room got quiet fast. Everyone noticed. He wasn't a student. He didn't belong there. He walked straight up to Adam, looked him in the eye, and dropped the folder at his feet. "You forgot these," he said. Then he turned and walked out. That was it. The whole place exploded. His mother gasped. His dad stood up, yelling. Faculty tried to hush people. The mic was still on. Someone had left it hot and people in the back could hear every word. Adam never made it to the podium. He left in shame. The university launched an investigation. Once they found out he'd used student funds to take Jenna on fake research trips, they pulled his scholarship. His GPA got flagged for review. They found out he cheated on more than just his wife, he faked sources in 2 major papers. His degree was held. Eventually, they expelled him retroactively for academic misconduct. He never got that diploma. I filed for divorce a week later. He tried to say it wasn't what it looked like. That Jenna was just a distraction. He cried. He begged. He even had the nerve to say I overreacted. I haven't heard from him in almost a year now. Kyle and I still talk sometimes. He's rebuilding. So am I. But I'll tell you this, watching that folder hit the floor was the most peaceful moment I've had in years. After the graduation blow-up, things didn't just settle down. That kind of public disaster doesn't end clean. The fallout came in waves. First came the school. They sent Adam a formal notice 2 weeks later. I didn't read it. Wasn't my mail anymore, but he called me about it, sobbing. Said they were reviewing his academic record for possible misconduct. Then, just 3 days after that, the college's ethics committee made their move. They held a meeting with 2 of his professors. One of them, Dr. Leeds, had apparently been vouching for him since day one. Turns out, Adam had used fake citations in a published article from the Student Political Journal. The kind of thing that, if found out, could discredit the school's credibility too. So they made a decision, quietly, but officially. They froze his graduation records. He was told he would not receive a diploma until they completed a full academic integrity investigation. What that really meant, they were buying time while they figured out if he deserved anything at all. Meanwhile, Jenna lost her campus job. Her email got shut down. Her name scrubbed from the student website. She went into hiding. I only know that because Kyle kept tabs. Kyle and I stayed in contact more than I expected. At first, it was just shared bitterness. Updates about the mess. But then it turned into real conversations, late-night phone calls, checking in on each other, sending articles, telling jokes. I never expected to like him. But Kyle was steady. Honest. He didn't pretend to be fine. He didn't try to fix me. He just let me feel what I needed to feel. One night, maybe 2 months after the ceremony, I told him something I hadn't told anyone, not even my best friend. I said, I think part of me knew. He got quiet. Then he said, me too. After that, things between us shifted. Slower, softer. But real. But Adam didn't disappear. He started showing up places I'd go. First, it was a bookstore where I met clients. Then it was the dog park, even though he didn't have a dog. Once, I saw him standing across the street from my new apartment. Just standing. Not moving. Just watching. I reported it to the police, but they couldn't do much since he wasn't technically harassing me, yet. Still, I started locking everything. Changed my number. Got cameras installed. Then came the real twist. Jenna emailed me. Out of nowhere. The subject line said, "We need to talk. Please." I sat there staring at it for a long time. My hands were shaking. I didn't know what she could possibly have to say that I'd want to hear. But I opened it. The email was long. Rambling. She said she was sorry. That she never meant to hurt anyone. That Adam had told her we were in an open relationship and that I didn't care about him anymore. That he used to talk about how miserable I was making him. That she thought they were meant to be. And then she wrote this: "He's been coming by my apartment, drunk. Threatening to tell my kids everything. Telling me I ruined his life. He said he was going to ruin yours, too. Said if he couldn't graduate, you didn't deserve your career either." And he wasn't finished. Kyle was the one who finally said it out loud: "He's coming unglued." We were sitting in my kitchen, both staring at Jenna's email printed out on the table between us. The more we read it, the more it felt like a warning and a confession wrapped into one. That same night, I checked my work email and found something I hadn't noticed before. A message flagged as important but sent to spam. It was anonymous. No name. No return address. Just a subject line that read, "You should look harder at who you married." Inside was a PDF. I didn't want to open it, but I did. It was a copy of my private freelance design portfolio, one I only shared with serious, vetted clients. It had personal notes, unfinished work, even some early-stage drafts for local campaigns that hadn't been announced publicly yet. He had hacked me. Or at least accessed my files through some old shared drive we'd used back when we first got married. I hadn't changed all my passwords. Stupid, I know. The next day, I got another client call, this one saying they'd received concerns about the originality of some of my past projects. That was a direct hit. Adam had always been petty, but this wasn't petty. This was war. I started documenting everything. Every strange email, every client call, every moment I saw someone outside my building and couldn't tell if they were watching me. Kyle was doing the same. A week later, Jenna called Kyle, something she hadn't done in over a month. She sounded panicked. She said Adam had come to her house drunk again, yelling that he wasn't going down alone. That he'd already sent the first wave and was just getting started. She was crying, saying she didn't know what he meant, but that he had mentioned Kyle's job specifically. 2 days later, Kyle's HR department pulled him into a meeting. An anonymous tip claimed he'd falsified safety reports on a past job site. Total lie, but it triggered an internal review. Just enough to rattle him. Just enough to waste his time, damage his name, and shake his stability. That's when we knew, Adam had made us his full-time obsession. But then things went too far. I came home late one night after picking up some supplies for a client presentation. I walked in, turned on the light, and stopped cold. There were muddy boot prints in my entryway. I hadn't tracked in anything. My shoes were dry. I checked every room. Nothing broken. Nothing stolen. But something was off. The top drawer of my nightstand was open. That drawer had a framed photo of me and Adam from our honeymoon. I kept it tucked away, not because I missed him, but because I hadn't gotten around to throwing it out. The frame was cracked, and the photo was missing. That was it. I called the cops. They came, took a report, said there was no forced entry. I had to admit, I still hadn't changed the lock since he left. But there was no proof it was him. Just a lot of creepy coincidences. They filed the report and left. But I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Kyle showed up with something in his hand. A USB drive. He said, "This came in the mail." No note. No return address. The angle was from behind a tree. Someone had been watching me. He wasn't just trying to ruin our lives anymore. He was stalking us. And he was getting bolder. I didn't wait another minute. That same day, I filed a restraining order against Adam. Kyle did the same. We handed over the USB drive to the police, along with Jenna's email and all the anonymous messages we'd collected. They finally took it seriously. Especially the video of me, it showed how close he was, how deliberate he'd been. But just filing the paperwork didn't make me feel safe. I changed the locks that night. Got a second deadbolt. Kyle stayed over, armed with a baseball bat and a chair wedged under the doorknob like we were kids hiding from a monster. Only this monster wore my husband's face. A week passed. Then 2. Quiet. No emails. No boot prints. No calls. I started to relax. A little. But then came the day I knew something was going to break. It was early October. I came home to find my car window smashed out. All 4. Windshield cracked. A single item left in the driver's seat, the missing honeymoon photo. Torn straight down the middle. His half missing. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat down on the curb and called Kyle. That's when I made a decision. I wasn't going to hide anymore. Kyle and I decided we'd go public. Not just with our story, but with everything. The cheating, the harassment, the abuse, the hacking, the threats. We wrote out the full timeline, included screenshots, emails, video stills, and posted it all on a Charleston community forum. Then we sent it to the College of Charleston's student paper, a local news station, and a few bigger bloggers in the area. And it took off. People were horrified. The school confirmed the degree revocation and misconduct findings. Some of Adam's old classmates commented on the post, saying they always suspected he was shady. Jenna's name trended on Twitter for a full day, but she stayed quiet. She was smart enough to crawl into the shadows. Adam, though? He finally snapped. 3 nights later, my building's security footage caught him trying to break in. He had a crowbar. He was wearing a hoodie, gloves, and pacing outside like he was arguing with himself. Security called the police, and they showed up fast. They arrested him on the spot. Trespassing. Intent to break and enter. Violation of a restraining order. He had Jenna's address in his pocket and a bottle of pills. I don't know if he was planning something worse. But it shook me. Bad. Kyle eventually moved to Tennessee with his boys. He needed distance. I respected that. We still talk sometimes, but not like before. I think we both remind each other of too much. I still live in Charleston. Got new clients. Built a better lock system. I sleep with a baseball bat next to my bed. But I'm stronger now. And I learned something people never want to admit. Sometimes, revenge doesn't fix everything. Sometimes, it just stops you from bleeding. But stopping the bleeding? That's where healing begins. Adam took years from me. My peace. My sense of safety. But he didn't take my future. I took that back myself. And I'll never let anyone steal it again. There's one last piece I've never told anyone. Not Kyle. Not my therapist. Not even the cops. Back when Kyle and I were putting everything together, printing messages, lining up timelines, digging into Adam's student records, I found something buried in one of our old shared drives. A draft of the valedictorian speech Adam was going to give that day. I should have deleted it. But I didn't. I read it. Twice. It started like this: hard work, honesty, and sacrifice. These are the values that got me here today. The irony hit so hard I actually laughed. That's when I made my real mistake. I didn't just forward the file to Kyle. I changed it. Just a few lines. I replaced the ending with something darker. A confession written in his voice. I saved it, changed the timestamp so it looked like an old draft, and emailed it anonymously to the university's academic affairs office, pretending to be a whistleblower student. I said, "You should know what your valedictorian planned to say." Before he changed it. It wasn't true. He never wrote that confession. I did. But it helped push the investigation faster. It helped lock in the ethics charges. It helped bury his name when the administration started covering their own ass. I know it wasn't right. I made the choice in a moment of rage. And yeah, I crossed a line. But that line? It was already shattered. I don't regret it. Because here's the truth, sometimes the people who look innocent aren't. Sometimes the only way to get justice is to bend it a little. Adam taught me that. And I used his own words to tear him down. They say revenge isn't sweet. That it poisons you. That it leaves you cold. Maybe that's true. I'm colder now. But I sleep. I walk the streets without looking over my shoulder. I trust my instincts. I protect my peace. I may not have healed perfectly. But I made damn sure he didn't get away clean. And that, to me, was worth it. About 6 months after everything, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Handwritten. Inside was a single sheet of paper. It was from Jenna. She wrote, "You got what you wanted. You destroyed him. I hope you're proud." That was it. No apology this time. No fake sympathy. Just pure bitterness. Like I was the one who started it. Like I was the villain because I didn't stay quiet. I sat at my kitchen table and just stared at it. I wasn't proud. That's the thing. But I wasn't ashamed either. People like Adam, like Jenna, they never think there's a cost. They believe they can do whatever they want, and the rest of us are supposed to clean up the mess. Keep our heads down. Move on quietly. Not this time. Not me. The rest of the year went by slow. I didn't date. I didn't party. I rebuilt my life brick by brick. Moved into a new place closer to the water. Got a dog, a stubborn, scrappy mutt who doesn't trust men. We're alike that way. I started teaching design part-time at a local community center. Not for the money. Just because it felt good to help someone else build something honest. Then one day, almost a year to the day from that graduation disaster, I got another message, this one from an unknown number. It said, "Hope you're happy. You ruined everything. You always ruin everything." I knew it was Adam. Even without his name. I could feel it in the tone. That twisted mix of self-pity and blame. I blocked it. But I didn't delete it. I keep that message. Just like I keep the cracked photo frame, and the court documents, and the printout of that fake speech I edited. They're reminders. Of who I was. Of what I survived. Of how close I came to losing everything, because I loved someone who didn't love me back the same way. I'm not the same person I was. She's gone. But in her place is someone who sees everything a little sharper. Trusts slower. Loves harder, but with her eyes open. Some people think revenge is a fire that burns you, too. Maybe they're right. But some things deserve to burn. And I was the one who lit the match.